The movie opens with Jill working a late shift as a security guard at a university. When her shift ends, she secretly steals some expired medication from a lab. Helped by a friend who temporarily disables the security cameras, Jill later sells the drugs at a cheap price to a dealer. But this time he underpays her and warns her to bring more the next time. After that, Jill heads to her mother-in-law's house to pick up her children. Since her husband passed away, the kids have been living with their grandmother because Jill still hasn't regained custody. Her aunt had clearly instructed her to drop the children back early. Jill spends some time with her kids. Her daughter Matilda is warm and responsive toward her, but her relationship with Nova feels distant and tense. Nova's cold behavior upsets Jill, and while driving, she nearly crashes into another car at first. Jill assumes she simply lost control, but she soon realizes that every vehicle on the road is suddenly out of control. She manages to narrowly avoid one oncoming car, but another slams into her vehicle from the side. Sending the car straight into the river, water floods in rapidly and in pure panic. Jill struggles for her life. She unbuckles her children's seatbelts and desperately drags them out of the sinking car, pushing upward through the water after a terrifying struggle. Jill finally surfaces with Nova, but Matilda is nowhere to be seen. Jill soon finds Matilda, who's already been rescued by 2 police officers. They manage to revive her using CPR. Relieved, Jill thanks them, and the officers explain that the power has gone out across the entire town. They believe the traffic signals stopped working because of the blackout, which likely caused the wave of accidents. One of the officers urges Jill to go to the hospital right away, especially since she has a cut on her forehead. When they arrive at the hospital, it's already overflowing with people. Doctors are completely confused about how so many individuals could have been involved in accidents at the exact same time. 1. Doctor suggests that there might be a connection between the accidents and the citywide power outage. Another quickly dismisses the idea, saying people don't suddenly lose control of their minds just because the lights go out. Still, none of the doctors can explain how so many drivers lost control simultaneously, making it clear that something very strange is happening as the doctors rush to treat the most critical patients. Jill is left to handle her own minor injuries. That's when the hospital reveals a shocking discovery. Every patient who had been in a coma suddenly woke up the moment the lights went out. An absolute miracle. Later, Jill takes her children back to her aunt's house. Her aunt tells her that the city's ATMs aren't working and shops are no longer accepting credit cards. Jill has already run out of cash, and with everything in chaos, her aunt suggests she stay the night. Jill lies awake the entire night. She goes into her old room and looks through photos of her husband and children. She notices her aunt is still awake. The aunt offers her sleeping pills, but Jill refuses. Jill then checks on Matilda, who is fast asleep. While Nova is still awake, she tells Nova to go to bed early. After that, Jill grabs her bicycle and heads toward work. Along the way, she sees many people wandering the streets, unable to sleep and killing time outside, on the road. She runs into the same drug dealer she used to sell expired sleeping pills to. He asks her for more pills, offering double the money, explaining that people who can't sleep are desperate for them. Jill agrees to the deal and continues. On her way to the university the next morning, after finishing her duty hours, Jill returns to the university lab. The campus is completely empty. As she starts gathering the pills, a group of military personnel suddenly arrives along with Dr. Murphy. Murphy is visibly shocked and deeply disappointed when he catches Jill stealing the medication. It's revealed that Jill was once Dr. Murphy's student. He explains that they're setting up a research center at the university because ever since the power outage the previous night, no one has been able to sleep. Asterisk, the scientists are in a race against time to find a cure for this mysterious condition. Dr. Murphy even offers Jill a chance to join the research team, but she turns him down. Another one of Jill's former classmates is already working with Murphy. He explains to Jill how insomnia, or extreme sleep deprivation, affects the human body. It slowly damages the brain, and if it continues long enough, the heart can stop pumping altogether, leading to death. People have already begun experiencing hallucinations because of it. He then reveals that there is only one woman in the world who can still sleep. By studying her brain activity, the scientists hope to create a medicine that could help everyone else at that moment. Jill suddenly remembers that when she got home earlier, Matilda was asleep while everyone else was wide awake. A horrifying thought crosses her mind: what if Matilda is dead? Without thinking twice, Jill runs back home in a panic, desperate to check on her daughter. When she arrives, Nova tells her that Grandma took Matilda to church, relieved. Jill immediately decides to head there. Meanwhile, her classmate follows her and insists that they should take Matilda to the research hub instead. Jill ignores him, and they continue toward the church. Along the way, they witness the chaos unfolding across the city. People who haven't slept have lost their sanity and are behaving violently in the streets. Some are even fighting one another as they move through the area. They come across a dead body. Jill is devastated when she realizes it's the same man who saved their lives the day before. Shaken, she asks her classmate what could have happened to him. Her classmate explains that the man's nose was bleeding, a sign that his brain had essentially ruptured due to extreme sleep deprivation. Inside the church, the priest was urging Matilda to sleep in front of everyone. Believing that watching her sleep might somehow allow others to fall asleep as well, he begins preaching to the crowd, claiming that this sleeplessness is God's punishment for humanity's sins. Suddenly, a woman stands up and asks whether Matilda could be sacrificed just as God sacrificed others for the greater good of all. Before the priest can respond, Jill, Nova, and her classmate burst into the church. They explain to everyone that the inability to sleep is destroying people's brain sand, that Matilda may be the key to finding a cure. The priest refuses to let Matilda go, arguing that the scientists would only turn her into a test subject. Hearing this, Jill's classmate becomes furious and declares that the military will handle the situation. But before he can even leave, a police officer shoots him from behind, killing him instantly. The sudden death sends the entire church into chaos, and people panic and run in every direction. During the confusion, Matilda escapes through the back door with her grandmother, however. When the police officer returns and confronts them at gunpoint, Matilda is nowhere to be found. He points his weapon at Matilda's grandmother and the priest, demanding answers. When Jill arrives and realizes Matilda's missing, she desperately searches for Herond, eventually finds her hiding near the stairs. Jill scoops Matilda into her arms and runs toward the woods. Having already told Nova to flee in the same direction, they reach a parking lot, where Jill plans to take both children somewhere safe. But here, Nova hesitates and says they should give Matilda to the scientists. He argues that if everyone else dies, Matilda would be completely alone in the world. They continue on, and after a short distance, Jill stops to catch her breath. She tells Nova that she can't hand Matilda over to Dr. Murphy because she knows him better than anyone. Murphy works as both a psychiatrist and a scientist for the military and has used extreme methods to torture prisoners, including sleep deprivation. Jill explains that people like Murphy don't see their test subjects as human at all. They treat them as nothing more than experiments. Jill tells Nova that she believes Murphy is a good person. He even helped her get a job, but when he's working, he completely forgets his humanity. Nova understands Jill's fear of seeing her daughter tortured, but he still insists that they have a responsibility to help all of humanity, not just protect Matilda from Murphy. He says they should take Matilda to the research hub, and in the end, they agree to go. As they travel, morning breaks. Along the road, they see people standing aimlessly in the middle of the street, clearly not making any sense and completely out of their minds from lack of sleep. Their next stop is a library, where Nova searches for a map that could help them locate the research hub while there. Jill tries to teach Matilda how to use a gun, believing that if she and Nova die, Matilda will need to protect herself. Matilda's uncomfortable, doesn't want to do it. Jill eventually leaves her and goes to look at the map with Nova instead. By that time, Matilda falls asleep in the car. A short while later, they hear chaos outside. They soon discover that prisoners have escaped from a nearby prison, and one of them has stolen Jill's car with Matilda still sleeping in the back. Jill and Nova freeze, not knowing what to do as the other escaped prisoners move toward them. Trying to attack, Jill fires a shot to intimidate them and show she's not helpless. Moments later, the man who stole the car suddenly returns and tells Jill and Nova to get inside. Jill gets into the car, but keeps the man at gunpoint, forcing him to cooperate. Suddenly, the car appears to lose control again. Jill manages to grab the wheel and steady it. But it turns out the entire thing was a trick. The prisoner was trying to disarm her. Jill laughs and reveals that the gun isn't even loaded. Enraged, the man snatches the car keys from her and storms off toward a nearby burned-out field. There, he finds some clothes and changes into them. Meanwhile, Nova explains to the man that they're taking Matilda to a research hub to develop a cure for everyone. Hearing this, the man returns to Jill, hands her back the gun, and says he'll personally drive them to the research hub because he needs the cure himself. As night falls, we see Jill teaching Matilda how to drive. In other words, Jill is teaching Matilda every possible survival skill she knows as they travel farther. They come across a horrifying CETA group of insane people gathered together, capturing others, killing them, hanging bodies upside down, and collecting their blood. The moment Jill sees this, she rushes to pull Matilda out of the driver's seat, but before she can react, the group attacks them. One of the women grabs Matilda by the hair. Without hesitation, Jill stabs the attacker's hand with a screwdriver. Soon, the entire family is fighting desperately against the crazed people surrounding them. The attackers smash all the windows of the car. Jill quickly throws her companion aside, jumps into the driver's seat, starts the car, and speeds away. The group chases them, but the car is too fast, and eventually, they disappear into the distance. After driving for a while, they finally spot a light glowing deep within the forest. They realize this must be the location of the research hub. Jill tells Nova and Matilda to hide and says she'll go inside first to make sure it's safe. Inside, she notices soldiers injecting each other with drugs just to stay sane for a short time. Jill sneaks into the research area and unlocks the door using her old password. Once inside, she puts on a lab coat so no one recognizes her. There, Jill sees an elderly woman sleeping. A doctor approaches Jill and asks her to take a blood sample. As Jill nods, she notices the woman's arms are covered with countless needle marks, showing that her blood has been drawn thousands of times. The woman is clearly in pain and asks Jill how long she'll have to endure this torture. Jill quietly tells her to trust her and promises that she will save her. She also tells the woman about her daughter, Matilda, who can sleep just like her. Meaning Matilda is also normal. Jill asks the woman that if everyone in the world dies and Jill doesn't survive, she should take care of Matilda. The woman explains that she doesn't even know why she's normal and reveals that the doctors told her months ago that she doesn't have much time left. At that moment, Dr. Murphy arrives and is shocked to see Jill. Murphy asks her where her classmate is, even though Jill knows he's dead. She lies and says she hasn't seen him since he left the university. Jill then asks if they found a cure. Dr. Murphy admits that they haven't found a cure yet, but they have developed a drug that can temporarily keep the brain stable. This is the same injection the soldiers are using on each other. However, medicine can't be given to everyone, because it has already damaged the nervous systems of many people. Tears fill Dr. Murphy's eyes as she hugs Jill, saying she's glad Jill came to help, but she feels completely powerless now. Seeing this, Jill also begins to tear up. Fearing that humanity may truly be nearing its end, suddenly, red flares light up the sky. It's revealed that the prisoner, Nova, and Matilda are all heading toward the same camp. Jill rushes toward them, only to see that the army has already captured all three before the soldiers can shoot them. Matilda speaks up and says she can sleep. Without Jill's consent, they bring Matilda into the research hub there. Matilda tells Dr. Murphy that she wants to help all of humanity. Inside the facility, Matilda sees that the scientists have beheaded a monkey, yet it is somehow still alive. They attempt to put the monkey to sleep using anesthesia, but it doesn't work. Dr. Murphy explains to Matilda that she will be put to sleep in the same way. If Matilda falls asleep, they will compare her brain activity to the monkey's. That difference, Murphy says, will help them identify the problem and find a cure. The doctors give Matilda the same anesthesia, and she immediately falls asleep. At the same time, we see Jill and Nova, who have both been imprisoned. Jill is now suffering from intense hallucinations, but when she sees Dr. Murphy approaching, she desperately begs her to release Matilda and spare her life. Murphy coldly replies that the future of all humanity depends on Matilda and that they can't let her go. Back in the lab, it's revealed that the elderly woman has died. Doctors attempt to revive her, but she's already gone. Meanwhile, Nova's mental state completely collapses. He attacks Jill, screaming at her and blaming her for never raising him. A soldier rushes in and drags Nova away from her. Outside, another soldier sees Pine suddenly collapse and mistakes it for a grenade blast. His mind has also completely broken, and he starts firing his weapon wildly. The gunfire causes panic among the other soldiers, and their minds snap as well. Soon, they begin shooting at each other in total confusion. Amid the chaos, a soldier approaches Jill, mistaking her for an enemy, and tries to kill her. Fortunately, the bullet hits a pipe above her instead, breaking it and freeing Jill from her restraints. Nova also tries to escape, but a soldier appears and is about to shoot him, just in time. The prisoner who had been helping them runs in from behind and saves Nova. As Nova flees outside, another soldier aims at him again, but before he can fire, a different soldier shoots him, instead saving Nova's life once more. Elsewhere, we see Dr. Murphy inject herself with the stabilizing drug to temporarily restore her brain function. Once she recovers, Murphy prepares to continue experimenting on Matilda, but at that moment, Jill bursts in and begs her again to spare her. Daughter Murphy still refuses until she suddenly collapses and dies. It's revealed that another scientist deliberately injected her with poison to save Matilda. Gil thanks the scientist and quickly disconnects Matilda from the equipment, trying to rescue her and get her out of there before they can escape. Several soldiers arrive and start firing. Jill and Matilda are forced to hide again to avoid the bullets nearby. They spot Nova, who is hallucinating badly from sleep deprivation, mistaking electrical wires for fish. They try to stop him, but he pushes an iron chopstick into the wires and is electrocuted. The shock is so powerful that it kills him instantly. Both Jill and Matilda break down in tears. Matilda then quickly runs to grab a defibrillator, the same one she had earlier seen the doctors use while trying to save the cruel woman. When Jill uses the defibrillator on Nova, the electric shock surges through her as well. She collapses to the ground. The scene then cuts to mourning Matilda, who had been trying to escape the chaos, had fallen asleep. When she wakes up, she sees Jill lying on top of Nova, crying over what she believes is her dead son. As Matilda stirs, Jill slowly moves away from Nova, and Matilda rushes to her brother. She shakes him into their shock. Nova suddenly sits up. They quickly realize that Nova isn't dead at all. He's simply asleep. The realization fills them with overwhelming joy. Before they can even celebrate, a soldier arrives and shoots Jill. Despite this, the soldiers allow them to leave after confirming that they are normal. They carry the badly injured Jill outside as they move. Nova apologizes to Jill for insisting they come to the research hub. Jill reassures him, telling him she loves him and that they must take care of each other while they talk. Matilda appears deep in thought. Suddenly, she runs back inside and looks at the defibrillator. Then she makes a shocking realization and tells Jill and Nova that Nova had actually died earlier. His heart had stopped pumping. And Matilda remembers this clearly. After being revived with the defibrillator, Nova fell asleep. She then recalls her own experience and says that when she was pulled out of the river, she was revived too. This leads them to a crucial conclusion: to recover from this disease, a person's life must be reset. If the heart stops and then starts beating again, the condition can be cured at that moment. Jill's condition worsens. She's close to death, panicking. Nova and Matilda rush her to the lake. They hold her underwater to stop her heart, then pull her out and perform CPR. After several agonizing seconds, Jill suddenly gasps for air. She's alive. Matilda's theory was correct, and they've finally discovered the cure. The movie ends with this revelation, showing the three of them together,